Hey everyone, welcome to the first annual version of the Skotties. And you may ask, what are the Skotties? You'll see the categories in the next slide. These are just kind of the end of the year award celebration of the artwork of Skottie Young and kind of just a celebration of our group in general, the Skottie Young Art Appreciation Group. If you're a new member, welcome to our group. Hopefully you've enjoyed what you've experienced so far. And if you're a veteran member, thanks for sticking around. We've had several milestones hit this year in membership, with 3,000 and 4,000 marks both being hit, and we're well on our way to 5,000. And I always say the more the merrier. I've enjoyed to be a part of this community, and hopefully that you all have enjoyed it as well. All right. If in case I haven't introduced myself, because I've did this this is probably about my 10th take of doing this, and it's been a little different every time. But my name's Dustin Whitney. I am the admin of this group, and I'll be your master of ceremonies for tonight's award show. All right, without further ado, we'll get into the award categories. And in case you're a fan of a hit NBC sitcom show that was on several years ago, our show is sponsored by everyone's favorite restaurant, Chili's. Fun, fresh, flavorful. Thank you, Chili's, for being such a gracious host. All right, our categories for tonight's show are as follows: Top Pop, you got to make that popping noise for that award. Best Statue, Best CGC Doodle, The Busiest Beaver, love that category. Best Unoriginal Offering, Daily Sketch of the Year, Boy at the End of the Year, Hall of Fame inductee, and this is a cover that has hit legendary status. And once you see which cover it is, you'll understand why. Then we'll take a moment to recognize the contributed artists that got to play in the toy box that was created by Mr. Skottie Young. And then the last two categories, the underrated cover of the year and the Cody, the cover of the year. This award show is very subjective. I was the sole selector of the categories, the nominees, and the winner. So if you don't like it, you can message me and explain about why I'm as wrong as I am. Hopefully, I won't get any more messages than I do now. All right. But before we present our first award, which is Top Pop, I just want to do a quick year in review and thank everyone for participating in all the events that we've had this year. Whether it be our first event of the year, which kicked off, which we did two different March Madness tournaments. One of them was the March Madness Best Skottie Young cover. The second one was an actual, bracket challenge that we had with physical awards that were mailed to the winners. Some of those awards were provided by myself. Some of the cooler awards, I'll say, were provided by the Skottie Shop. And big thanks to Skottie and Megan for providing those awards. That was really cool of them, and I'm sure the people that received those awards were very grateful. Some of the other events that we have were the Scary Skottie month of October, for kind of all the horror sketches that Skottie has created over his career, or a portion, 31 of them at least, were presented on each day. And what we're currently going through now, which is the 25 days of Skottie Christmas, seems get a lot of different likes for different images. The Home Alone image seems to be the most popular one, with the Wet Bandits. That's probably one of my favorites, and it's still getting quite a few likes. So hopefully everybody's enjoying that. I enjoy posting them because it's getting to that point of the month, though, since today is the 14th when this is being recorded, that I forget which ones I've posted so far. So I'll have to do a schedule of which ones I've still got left to do. But that's some of the behind of the curtain that, y'all probably don't care to hear too much about. And finally, one of the last events, and one of my favorite events of the year, is the Purge. And if you're a newer member and you're listening to this, you're like, what the heck's the Purge? Well, if you're an older member listening to this, you may still wonder what the heck's the Purge. The Purge is the one day, and then it expanded into a weekend this past year, that you can post non-Skottie items into the group. Typically, every other day of the year, it's a Skottie Young 100% art appreciation group. Anything that's posted that's not Skottie related either gets removed or doesn't get approved for post. This one weekend, all chaos breaks loose We get to see what other members like to collect, what their general interests are. And it really helps us kind of expand their knowledge of our other community members and say, hey, we all collect Skottie. We all like Skottie items, but you like comics. You like movie-related items. You like sideshow statues. You like CGC comics. You like coins. Heck, a knife collector. I mean, there's all kinds of different fun stuff that we get to figure out what each other collects, and kind of helps us bring us together closer as a community. And hopefully we can come up with more fun stuff like this in the future. And events, unlike the Purge, where the most popular comment I get is, I don't get it, or what is this? Those are fun to answer. And hopefully I'll come up with more events in 2024 that'll get me just as many questions, wondering what is going on. That's what keeps me up at night. I want to make sure everybody's being entertained. It's a fun event for me, and hopefully everybody else enjoys it as well. All right, without further ado, we'll get to the awards because I think I've rambled on long enough. The first award of the night is the Top Pop. And I promise that'll be one of the last times. I'll do it one more time. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to do it one more time. But the nominees for this category are Slimer, Batman, Spider-Man, Deadpool, Spider-Gwen, and Stay Puffed. And you may wonder, where did these come from? I didn't see these up in the shop. I didn't see these available for sale from a retailer. These actually came from Skottie's group venture into the Whatnot stream. And if you're not familiar with Whatnot, it's a live auction stream that sells all kinds of fun stuff, whether it be comics, art, Funko Pops. I'm sure they sell other stuff on there. That's just the main things that I look for on those shows. But Skottie did, and Megan and their group did 2 shows this year on there, and they were very successful. It was crazy. As they announced the shows, I was watching the viewers that had saved the show to be notified when it went live. And from the groups I follow, it was the highest number of people that had kind of clicked to save the show that I had seen. I was like, man, this thing's going to be massive. And as soon as Skottie went live and was on there, it was like, pop, 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 pop. You couldn't even see the comments. It was just rapid fire. And it was blink and you missed it. And it was like, hey, Skottie, hey, Skottie, Skottie, what's up, Skottie? Oh, is this Skottie Young? I mean, there's all kinds of comments. And finally, it slowed down a little bit. But, I mean, there was still 300 to 400 viewers by the end of the show, which is unheard of because a lot of times people will bail on those shows. It was fun. It was engaging. There was cool product offered. And this is one of the products that was offered, the Pops. And Skottie was going to remark the Pops, it looked like. But he decided, nope, I'm going to make them full colored sketches. And each of them has a little life and personality of their own. But only one of them could be the winner of the Top Pop. And that winner is the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Whenever they were posting these on their social media feeds, this is the first one I saw, and I was like, that is my favorite painted Pop. I've seen several artists do little sketches on Pops. To this day, this is my favorite sketch on a Pop that I've seen. I didn't win. I got outbid on this one. I was going for a piece of art on the Whatnot show, and I didn't get this one, but congratulations to whoever owns this one. This is my favorite Pop of the year, and that's why it earned the prestigious award of Top Pop. All right, I'm done. All right, next category for the Skotties is Best Statue. And out of all the nominees across all the categories, this was the easiest one to pick. And I doubt I'll get much grief or flack on this one, but I'll announce the nominees kind of half-heartedly. Moon Knight, and it's cool. I like it. It's great. Drax, love Drax. Peter Parker, I do like the Peter Parker one quite a bit. I mean, Blade, all these are great. These are all lovely. Silver Surfer Chrome, San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. That's another level. And that's why it's the winner of the Best Statue. And you see my one-eyed variant that I got? Pretty proud of this one. So proud that General Giant allowed me to take a hammer to it and beat the fire out of it. And they were gracious enough to send me a replacement. And so mine now has both eyes. This was such a cool statue. I was very nervous to even touch it, to leave fingerprints on it. I didn't want to leave any residue on it. But I think anyone that's got this one so far would probably agree that this was the statue of the year. And not to give any, I was just joking. All the other statues were great. This one was just a notch above them. So congratulations to everyone that got one of these, because the aftermarket prices has shot up. The range I was looking at yesterday when I pulled up eBay was around 225 was kind of the average, which is, if you can get one for around there, I'd suggest doing it, because at a limit, there was two different edition sizes I saw, 250 and 300, but whichever one it was official, however many they officially made, it's very limited, and I'd say this one will be highly sought after in the future. All right, our next category, for the fourth year in the row, Skottie paid a trip to Sarasota, Florida to do the CGC signing / remark addition to the books. And there was many flooding in the different social media platforms for CGC. I think Skottie and Megan may have shared some, but ever the many that I saw, and I'm sure there's other ones that are probably as great, if not better than these in a lot of your eyes. These were the 6 that I saw and I really liked, and therefore that's what I went with. Bartman, Spawn, Magic, Gambit, Spidey / Venom, and Batman. And of course, there can only be one winner in this competition. And for me, and anybody knows what I like to collect, it's going to be Gambit. I'm a big Rogue Gambit fan. The way Skottie did Gambit here with a little smirk on his face, you can see the pencils underneath the marker. It's just very cool. You see this, it's automatically, that's Skottie, that's Gambit, that's a winner. All right. Now this category is going to be a fun one. The Skotties Daily Sketch of the Year. Skottie posted several great daily sketches. I did not include any of the sketches in this. This is kind of a separate category. But the 5 that I picked to choose to honor, and let's be honest, guys, it's an honor to be nominated in the Skotties. I mean, it's a very selective group. So the nominees are Breaking Bad, Erica Slaughter, Spider-Punk, The Spot, and Ahsoka. And the winner is Spider-Punk, is what I would say in any other year. But the little pitter-patter of footsteps sneaking up behind Skottie and the Skotties is Milo Young. The winner is The Spot. And just to look at the imagination that little Milo used for this, I think Skottie would agree that this is definitely the daily sketch of the year. And everybody else better agree, or I may have to remove you from the group. All right, so now we're going to honor the other the other daily sketches that Skottie's kind of been, I won't say stringing out, that sounds bad, but been producing for years, the boy, and we're kind of wondering, what am I? That's a big question. Well, I think many of our Skotties fans have probably started to wonder that same thing, and probably are getting a little bit excited, if you're like me, thinking about where he's going to go. And you can see from the different sketches that Skottie has produced this year of the boy that he could probably do a sketchbook that contains, 1,000 pages. I mean, like a War and Peace size novel of the boy. Or is it going to be its own comic? Is it going to be a daily strip? What's it going to be? But each and every one of these, the cool thing about these sketches, not just the ones we're about to see, but the ones we saw previously, where Skottie just doesn't do a sketch. He tells a story. And to me, that's the most creative part of the process, is not just seeing, hey, can you draw Spider-Man? Or, hey, can you draw, Walt and Jesse from Breaking Bad? It's, I'm going to draw those characters, but they're going to be telling a story within that scene. It's like you're catching a scene within a much longer story that Skottie has produced. And every time you see one of these sketches pop up, you get that same feeling. And you can see from and there's 2 slides of these. This is the first slide of the many that Skottie has produced in 2023. And I'm sure I left some out, but this is a good sampling of what he has produced. And I suggest everyone to go follow Skottie on Instagram and start pulling some of these up. Follow Skottie Young and Stupid Fresh Mess on Instagram. And as he posts these, just kind of read some of them. And very, very thought-provoking. And I really enjoy. Of course, I had to highlight that one. That's the only piece I own from that of the boy. And it's one of my favorite pieces of Skotties that I have. But all these are very cool. The second one from the top up there, the boy looking at the mask, that one's awesome. The far one on the top right with kind of the levitating, that one's awesome. You'll hear me say awesome way too many times. The little one on the one in the middle and the bottom says, "I know, but it's time for you to go help a new friend." That one's awesome. They're all so good, and even the window that Skottie painted for one of the office doors tells a nice little story. So thank you, Skottie, for providing these for us fans and keeping us thinking, even when we may not want to sometimes. All right. Now, the most fun, is that most fun? I think that's a good way to put it. The most fun category of the year is the busiest beaver. And this is a direct homage. And I wanted to award this one to Phyllis, but she has moved on to another show. So we're done with that. So we had to award this to someone within the Skottie office. And if you all know what's been going on at the Skottie shop over this last quarter of the year, it has to be a nightmare because there were books launched in succession, like rapid fire, right after the other. And the only thing I can think of is Skottie and Megan got together and said, "How can we torture John?" And said, "Let's release as many books as possible right at the end of the year." And being the trooper he is, John Young, you are the winner of the busiest beaver. Thank you for all the books that are coming in. Anybody that's still waiting on a Batman, Transformers, X-Men, 141, any of those, please be patient. Skottie, Megan, Casey, John, I'm sure they're all pitching in. They're all doing a heck of a job. But I would just want to recognize John Young. And as you can see from his nameplate there, the Stupid Fresh Mess Shipping Dungeon. So thank you, John. Thank you for what you do, the care that you take when you pack these things, and the lightning speed that you do it with. God bless. And speaking of John, this is one of the ideas that he suggested, and one of the new offerings from the Skottie group or Skottie shop this year is the unoriginal prints. And these were prints that were taken from original art for cover art that Skottie had did and regenerated as a print with a limited edition size of 150 pieces each, all signed by Skottie. And there were 7 new ones, 7 different unoriginal prints that were offered this year. And they were all very, very cool prints. But once again, there can only be one winner, and that winner is the Ghost Rider. And as I mentioned, the March Madness Skottie cover of the year that we do, this one didn't win this year, but it was the 2022 winner. So, and it's also Gentle Giant has pre-released it as a statue, so it'll be added to the animated statues in 2024, hopefully. Let's hope, fingers crossed, it gets released in 2024. And that brings us to the Skotties Hall of Fame inductee. Once again, March Madness, best Skottie Young cover. We've did it 4 years. This book has won 2 of those years, and it will be excluded from competition going forward, just to be fair to some other covers to give them a chance to win best cover of the year. And that winner is, and probably if you had to picture a book in your head right now that's your favorite Skottie cover, and you probably think, well, I know which books won 2 in a year. All right, picture that book, and if it's not this book, then you need to get to know this book. This is such a cool book. It's Stan the Man sitting there reading to children, all dressed in various superhero costumes or colored clothing. It's won in 2021 and 2023 for our March Madness cover of the year. It will not be included in the 2024. If we ever have a champion edition, we'll bring it out of the vault. But I want to honor it, thank it for what it's did, and thank Skottie for producing it, because it's a very whimsical book that we all enjoy. All right, our next slide is just kind of recognizing contributing artists that have worked on books that Skottie has written. And Brett Bean, I'll mention him first for I Hate Fairyland Volume 2. What a seamless transition between Volume 1 and Volume 2. His artwork and any of his dailies that anybody's seen that he's did, if they don't scream Skottie, I don't know what does. But very impressive. Very impressed with the man that's producing this work. And I don't know this, but I'm sure Skottie is pleased with this, that he's got to be tickled to death because he's taken the vision for Gert and just expanded it through Skottie's words and created a fairyland that we're all quite familiar with. And of course, all the other contributing artists on this page, I really want to read all their names, but I'm afraid I'd butcher half their names. But thank you all for providing us wonderful art and with the wonderful stories that Skottie has did to bring his work to life. It's been a pleasure and an honor to be able to view these. All right, now without further ado, we've got our last two categories of the year. This is the Skotties underrated cover of the year. And this is where it gets tense. I'm sure all these nominees are nervous about who's going to be the winner, but there can only be one winner. But like I said, it's an honor to make it to this stage. They've all worked hard. They've all put in the time. Let's recognize them. The first nominee is Usagi Yojimbo, Icing cover #1. The second nominee, oops, there's an error. I Hate Fairyland with no D, #10 cover variant. Of course, that's a Michonne Walking Dead homage. Junkrabbit #3. Zawa and the Belly of the Beast #1, which was released as a variant and a full variant. And then Battle Chasers #10. Now, this award changed as I was editing the slides. The original winner was Junkrabbit. And then something just kept drawing me back to the eventual winner, Zawa. I remember posting this book and everybody's like, oh, that's awesome. What is that? I've not read the book, but I just love this cover. And the foil just popped on this cover. So cool. So cool. So congratulations to Zawa and the Belly of the Beast #1, Skottie Young cover variant. You are the winner of the underrated cover of the year 2023. That brings us to the cover of the year, the Skottie. Now, all 5 of these are worthy of their own place. Several of these dropped in the second half of the year and replaced the other nominees that I had that I'd been saving on my phone. Yeah, I've been planning on doing this for a while. But each nominee could be a winner in any given year. I mean, we had to pick one, or I had to pick one. But Transformers 1, Skottie Young shop exclusive. Batman Off-World #1, Skottie shop exclusive. Spider-Boy #1. X-Men #141, a Skottie shop exclusive. And Predator versus Wolverine. Let's talk a little bit about these before we reveal the final award of the night. The Transformers was a huge shock to a lot of people when we saw it for the first time. Very dynamic cover. Optimus Prime shooting out at you. All us kids that were born in the 80s are like, that's just awe-inspiring. And it's the flame shooting behind it. If that doesn't scream 80s comics, 80s movies, 80s Transformers, Skottie captured it perfectly. The second book was a huge announcement by Skottie, his first ever DC cover for the Batman Off-World #1. Again, this was a shop exclusive. Skottie and his team went live on YouTube to announce the cover. And at the same time, they had shared the X-Men 141 cover, which was pretty cool in itself. But this was a kind of historical day whenever Skottie announced his DC cover, because I'm sure if there's one question that Skottie would probably never want to answer again is, when are you going to start doing DC covers? Well, now he can say, I've did it. Go, check my catalog. Boom. Batman Off-World #1. Vintage Skottie right there. Spider-Boy #1. The one that can be viewed both ways. Upside down, right side up, however you want to see it, topsy-turvy. Spider-Boy was a very hot product in 2023, whether you loved him, hated him, thought he was overhyped, thought he was underhyped, whatever you may think. Skottie nailed the character in this one. And it's already been homaged by several of the parody artists, which is a sign of how great of a cover it is right off the bat. X-Men 141, this one was announced kind of at the same time as the YouTube video as the Batman. So not to steal any of the Batman's thunder, but it was cool in its own right. Another Skottie shop exclusive, and just whether it's the little corner box up there or the different words they use to describe the expirations of the different characters in the poster, or just the Skottie version of all the characters. I really like this cover. This was, one that I kept going back to, and I was like, I'd like for that one to be cover of the year. But there was something inside me saying that can't be cover of the year, because the cover of the year has to go to the Transformers #1. And hopefully you all were able to get a copy of when it went live the first time, which it stayed live for about 4 hours on the Skottie shop, or when the second print come out, and the raw edition stayed live for about 4 minutes. It was crazy, because even I couldn't get a raw edition fast enough. The X-Men 141 cover and this one were released at the same time, and I was debating back and forth whether I wanted to get a CGC or a raw cover of the second print. So I thought, I'm just going to get a raw cover of the Transformers second print and a CGC cover of the X-Men 141. Went to check out, raw cover had already sold out. So I ended up getting a CGC cover of the second print, which I'm kind of glad I did that to pair with my first printing cover. But really, at the end of the day, there couldn't be another winner for the Cody other than Transformers #1. Even though, like I said, X-Men 141, I like that one. That's probably my favorite comic of the cover of the year. But Transformers 1, it's transcended my humble selection and earned its way to be the Skotties' first ever cover of the year. And with that concludes our broadcast of the Skotties. Hope you all have enjoyed it. Hope I didn't ramble on too long. Hope everybody has a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, God bless, and we'll try to do this live in 2024. Y'all have a great night. Catch you later.